In the quiet shadows of royal duty and personal loss, a young prince faces the pull of family ties across oceans, reminding us all that even in the grandeur of palaces, grief is a solitary journey that tests the heart and forges unbreakable resolve. Harry stared at the phone screen, the words blurring through unshed tears. The news had come like a thunderclap. His grandfather, the Duke of Edinburgh, had passed away at Windsor Castle. At 99 years old, Prince Philip had been a pillar of strength for the royal family, a man of sharp wit and unyielding discipline. Harry, now living in California with his wife Meghan and young son Archie, felt the world shift under him. He was thousands of miles away, in a life he had chosen to step back from the monarchy's rigid expectations. But this was different. This was family. This was goodbye. He paced the sunlit room of their Montecito home, the Pacific Ocean glittering outside the window. Meghan sat nearby, her hand on her growing belly. They were expecting their second child, a girl. "You have to go," she said softly, her voice steady despite the worry in her eyes. Harry nodded, but inside a storm raged. The pandemic had locked down the world. Travel was risky, especially for Meghan in her pregnancy. Doctors advised against her flying. So, he would go alone. Solo. The word echoed in his mind like a sentence. The decision weighed heavy. Harry remembered his grandfather's stories from World War II, the adventures on naval ships, the lessons in resilience. Philip had always pushed him to be tough, to face challenges head-on. Now, Harry had to honor that. He booked a flight, commercial, to avoid drawing too much attention. Masks, tests, quarantines, the logistics were a nightmare. As he packed his suitcase, Archie toddled in, clutching a toy car. "Dad, I go?" the boy asked. Harry knelt down, hugging him tight. "Just for a bit, buddy. I'll be back soon." Leaving them felt like tearing a piece of himself away. On the plane, high above the Atlantic, Harry sat in economy, disguised under a baseball cap and mask. No royal jet this time. He was just another passenger. His thoughts drifted to the past, the happy times at Balmoral, Philip teaching him to shoot, the gruff advice on life. But also the tensions, his decision to step away from royal duties, the media storm, the family rifts. Would his return heal anything or widen the cracks? He landed at Heathrow under gray skies, the air cool and familiar. Paparazzi swarmed, but he slipped into a waiting car, heading to Frogmore Cottage for quarantine. Alone in the empty house, he stared at the walls, memories flooding back. This was where he and Meghan had started their married life. Now it felt like a ghost of what was. Days blurred in isolation. Harry video called home every night, seeing Archie's smiles and Meghan's reassurances. He read books Philip had loved, watched old family videos. The funeral plans unfolded via emails from the palace. Limited guests due to COVID, no public processions. He would walk behind the coffin with his brother William, their father Charles, and others. The thought of seeing William after so long, their bond strained by interviews and accusations, made his stomach knot. But grief had a way of softening edges. Maybe this was a chance. Finally, quarantine ended. Harry drove to Windsor, the castle looming like a steadfast guardian. He met with the Queen first, his grandmother. She looked frail but composed, her eyes holding a lifetime of sorrow. "He would have wanted you here," she said, squeezing his hand. Harry nodded, fighting back emotion. Reunions with the family were awkward at first. Hugs distanced, conversations careful. Charles seemed older, burdened. William greeted him with a nod, their eyes meeting in silent understanding. No time for arguments now. This was about Philip. The eve of the funeral brought reflection. Harry walked the grounds, the spring flowers blooming despite the chill. He thought of Philip's legacy, the Duke of Edinburgh Award, inspiring millions of youth. Harry had benefited from it himself, building character through challenges. In his room that night, he penned a private note to his grandfather, words of thanks and regret. Sleep came fitfully, dreams mixing joy and loss. The funeral day dawned crisp. Harry dressed in his military uniform, medals gleaming. though controversy swirled about his right to wear it after stepping back. He joined the procession, stepping in line behind the Land Rover carrying the coffin, customized as Philip had wished. The slow march through Windsor's empty streets was haunting, bagpipes echoing. Harry glanced at William. For a moment, they were just brothers again, sharing the weight. Inside St. George's Chapel, the service was intimate. The Queen's solitary figure, masked and alone in her pew, broke hearts worldwide. Harry listened to the readings, the choir's voices soaring. As the coffin lowered, he whispered a final goodbye. Afterward, the family gathered briefly. Conversations flowed easier than expected. Harry and William talked in low voices, not resolving everything, but acknowledging the pain. Charles pulled him aside. "We're glad you came. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start." Harry felt a spark of hope amid the grief. Back in California days later, Harry held his family close. The solo journey had changed him, reminding him of roots he couldn't fully sever. Philip's farewell wasn't just an end. It was a bridge to whatever came next. Life moved on, but the lessons lingered, shaping a prince into a man ready for tomorrow. Harry's return had stirred whispers across the globe, but in the quiet moments, it was his inner world that transformed most. He spent the following weeks reflecting on the funeral's echoes. Back home, he threw himself into his work with Archwell, the foundation he and Meghan had built. Ideas flowed, mental health initiatives inspired by Philip's no-nonsense approach to toughness, environmental projects echoing the Duke's conservation efforts. Archie asked about Grandpa Great, and Harry shared stories, keeping the memory alive. Media scrutiny intensified. Tabloids dissected every glance between him and William during the procession, speculating on reconciliations. Harry ignored most of it, focusing on family. Meghan's due date approached, and they prepared the nursery, painting walls in soft colors. Walks on the beach became his sanctuary, waves crashing like thoughts unresolved. He wondered if Philip would approve of his new life, independent, outspoken. A call from the palace came unexpectedly. The Queen wanted to check in. Their conversation was warm, touching on Archie's antics and the upcoming baby. She shared a funny anecdote about Philip's impatience with technology, making Harry laugh. It felt like a thread reconnecting. William texted too, short but sincere, thinking of Grandad. "Hope you're well." Small steps but meaningful. As summer neared, Harry traveled for work, promoting his memoir ideas, though he held back details that could hurt. The solo trip had taught him balance. Honor the past without being trapped by it. He mentored young people through awards similar to Philip's, finding purpose. Grief evolved into gratitude, a quiet strength. With the birth of their daughter, Lilibet, joy filled the house. Harry cradled her, whispering promises. The name honored his grandmother, a gesture of love. Philip's spirit seemed present in these new beginnings, reminding Harry that family endures, even across divides. Years would pass, but that farewell remained a pivotal chapter. Harry grew, blending royal heritage with personal freedom, inspiring others to navigate their own paths. Harry's solo journey didn't end with the flight home. It rippled into his daily life, reshaping priorities. He delved deeper into therapy, processing the loss, and family dynamics. Sessions helped him unpack the weight of public life, the expectations that had once suffocated him. Meghan supported, sharing her own experiences. Professionally, he partnered with organizations for veterans, drawing from Philip's military background. Speeches at events highlighted resilience, stories of his grandfather adding authenticity. Archie started preschool, and Harry volunteered there, teaching kids about nature. Philip's influence again. Tensions with the family eased slowly. A video call for the Queen's birthday included light banter. William shared updates on his children. Harry reciprocated. No full mending, but civility returned. Personal growth bloomed. Harry took up journaling, chronicling thoughts on fatherhood and legacy. Runs in the hills cleared his mind, each step a metaphor for moving forward. Meghan's projects thrived too, their partnership stronger. The world watched, but Harry focused inward. Philip's farewell had been a catalyst, turning solitude into empowerment. He emerged more grounded, ready to build bridges where possible and forge ahead where not. In time, invitations came for royal events. Harry attended selectively, always with respect. The Duke's memory guided him, a compass in uncertain seas. Harry found unexpected solace in writing. He began drafting letters to Archie and Lily, sharing tales of their great-grandfather. He was tough but kind. He'd write, teaching me to stand tall. These became family treasures. Community work expanded. He launched initiatives for youth in underserved areas, mirroring the Duke of Edinburgh award spirit, but adapted from modern challenges like mental health and climate action. Feedback was positive. Participants shared how it changed lives. Family ties warmed further. A surprise visit from cousins during a UK trip brought laughter, reminiscing about Philip's pranks. The Queen sent gifts for the kids, her notes affectionate. Challenges persisted. Media storms, public opinions, but Harry handled them with grace learned from loss. He advocated for privacy, yet shared selectively to help others. As Lily took her first steps, Harry reflected on cycles of life. The solo return had been hard, but necessary. It honored Philip while affirming his choices. Growth came not from avoidance, but embrace. Philip's legacy lived on through actions, not just words. Harry ensured that. The impact of that farewell extended to global conversations. Harry's openness about grief sparked discussions on mental health in high-profile families. Interviews he gave post-funeral were measured, focusing on unity rather than division. At home, routine solidified. Family dinners, story time, simple joys. Meghan and he co-authored a children's book, subtly nodding to Philip's adventurous spirit. Reconnections deepened. Charles visited California, a tentative step. They walked the gardens, talking honestly. Wounds healed gradually. Harry's advocacy grew bolder. He spoke at UN events on conservation, crediting Philip's early influence. Awards followed, but he deflected praise, saying it was about the cause. Personal milestones marked progress. Archie's first soccer game, Lily's giggles, reminders of why he chose this life. The solo journey had forged resilience. Harry looked forward, grateful for the past's lessons, committed to a future of purpose. No more dwelling, only advancing. Echoes of the funeral inspired creative outlets. Harry collaborated on a documentary about Philip's life, providing personal insights. It aired to acclaim, humanizing the royal figure. Daily life balanced work and play. Beach days with the kids, date nights with Meghan. He took up surfing, finding freedom in the waves. Family dialogues continued. William and he exchanged parenting tips via calls, building rapport. Challenges arose, a tabloid scandal. But Harry responded calmly, lessons from Philip's stoicism guiding him. Growth was evident. He mentored others, stepping away from traditional paths, offering advice drawn from experience. As another year turned, Harry hosted a small memorial for Philip at home, toasting his memory. It felt right, blending old and new. The farewell had been a turning point, leading to authenticity and peace. Finally, Harry embraced full integration of his worlds. He planned a book on leadership, weaving in Philip's wisdom with his own journeys. Life flourished. The kids thrived, family bonds strengthened across distances. Occasional UK visits became easier, less fraught. The Queen's health updates brought concern, but also closeness. Advocacy reached new heights, global partnerships for change. Personal fulfillment peaked. Harry ran marathons for charity, pushing limits as Philip taught. The solo return's lessons endured. Face loss, honor roots, forge ahead. In the end, it was about legacy, not just Philip's but Harry's own, built one step at a time. Harry stepped off the small private plane in California after the long journey back from England. The warm sun hit his face right away. It felt strange after the cold, gray days at Windsor. He carried only a small bag. Everything else had been sent ahead. His heart still felt heavy from saying goodbye to his grandfather forever. But now he was home, home where Meghan waited with Archie. home where life felt real and not just a show for cameras. Meghan met him at the gate of their house. She did not run to him. She walked slowly because her belly was big now. The baby girl was due in just a few weeks. She smiled softly and opened her arms. Harry dropped his bag and held her close. He breathed in the smell of her hair. For the first time in many days, he felt safe. Archie came running from the garden. He was wearing a little blue shirt and shorts. Mud was on his knees from playing. "Da-da-da-da," he shouted and jumped into Harry's arms. Harry lifted him high and spun him around. Laughter filled the air. It was the first real laugh Harry had in a long time. Inside the house, everything was calm. Soft music played in the background. Toys were scattered on the floor. Meghan had made fresh lemonade. They sat on the big couch. Archie climbed between them. Harry told simple stories about the trip. He talked about the castle gardens. He talked about the bagpipes that played sad music. He did not talk about the hard parts yet. Not about the silence between him and his brother. Not about the lonely nights in quarantine. Those things could wait. That night, after Archie went to sleep, Harry and Meghan sat on the balcony. The ocean waves made soft sound below them. Stars were bright in the sky. Harry looked at the dark water for a long time. Then he spoke. "I felt so alone there," he said. "Even when I was with family, I felt alone." Meghan took his hand. "You are not alone," she answered. "You carried us with you. Every time you looked at the sky, you thought of us." Harry nodded slowly. He knew she was right. The next morning, Harry woke up early. He could not sleep much. His mind kept going back to the funeral. The way the coffin moved slowly on the Land Rover. The way his grandmother sat alone in the church. The way William looked straight ahead without speaking much. Harry got up quietly. He went to the small room they used as an office. He opened his laptop. There were hundreds of messages. Some from friends. Some for people he did not know. Many said kind things about his grandfather. Many said they were sorry for his loss. Harry read them one by one. Tears came again, but this time they were quiet tears. He started to write. Not for the public. Not for a book. Just for himself. He wrote about the good memories. He wrote about the time Prince Philip took him fishing when he was 10. They sat on the riverbank for hours. Philip told stories about the war. He told Harry to always keep his promises. Harry wrote about the funny moments too, like when Philip tried to use a smartphone and got angry because it talked back to him. Harry smiled as he typed. Writing helped. It made the pain a little smaller. Days passed quickly. Meghan's belly grew bigger every day. They went for walks on the beach. Archie ran ahead collecting shells. Harry pushed Meghan in a golf cart when she got tired. They laughed when Archie tried to catch seagulls. Life felt normal again. But Harry changed inside. He became quieter. He thought more before he spoke. He listened better. The trip had taught him things he never expected. One afternoon, a package arrived from England. It was from the palace. Inside was a small wooden box. On top was a note in the Queen's handwriting. It said for Harry, from Philip. Harry opened the box slowly. Inside was a silver pocket watch. It was old and beautiful. The back had a small engraving. It said to my grandson, keep time with kindness. Harry held it in his hand. He felt his grandfather's strong hand on his shoulder, even though he was gone. He showed it to Meghan. She touched it gently. He wanted you to have this, she said. Harry nodded. He put the watch in his pocket. From that day, he carried it everywhere. Harry started to do more work. He and Meghan talked about their foundation. They wanted to help young people. They wanted to give them chances like the Duke of Edinburgh Award gave Harry when he was young. They planned new programs. One was about mental health. Another was about protecting nature. Harry remembered how his grandfather loved the outdoors. Philip always said nature teaches more than any book. Harry wanted to pass that on. He also started to speak to groups online. Not big speeches, just small talks. He talked about grief. He talked about family. He talked about making mistakes and learning from them. People listened. Many wrote back. They said his words helped them. Harry felt surprised. He never thought his pain could help others. But it did. One evening, William called. It was late in England. Harry answered quickly. Hello, he said. Hello, came the reply. There was silence for a moment. Then, William spoke. I was thinking about Granddad today. Harry waited. William continued. He always said we should look after each other, even when we fight. Harry felt something warm in his chest. I miss him, he said. I miss him too, William answered. They did not talk about the past. They did not talk about arguments or interviews. They just talked about their grandfather. It was enough for now. After the call, Harry went to Archie's room. The boy was sleeping with his favorite stuffed bear. Harry sat on the floor and watched him breathe. He thought about being a father. He thought about being a son. He thought about being a grandson. All these things mixed together inside him. He felt stronger because of them. The weeks went by. Megan started to feel the baby move more. She called Harry to feel the kicks. He put his hand on her belly and smiled big. "She's strong," he said, "like her great-grandfather." Megan laughed. "Like her father, too," she answered. They prepared the nursery. They painted the walls light yellow. They bought a small crib. They hung pictures of family. One picture was of Prince Philip holding baby Archie years ago. Harry looked at it every day. It reminded him that love does not stop. Then the day came. Early in the morning, Megan said it is time. Harry stayed calm. He called the doctor. He packed the bag. He woke Archie and told him he would soon have a little sister. Archie clapped his hands. They drove to the hospital. Everything went well. Hours later, their daughter was born. She had dark hair and big eyes. They named her Lilibet, after the Queen's childhood name. It was a gift to the family. Harry held the tiny baby. She was so small, so perfect. He whispered to her, "Your great-grandfather would love you so much. He would tell you stories. He would teach you to be brave." Megan watched them with tears in her eyes. "This is our family," she said. "This is what matters." When they came home, with Lilibet, the house felt full of life. Archie wanted to hold her all the time. He kissed her head softly. Harry took photos. He sent some to England. The Queen wrote back. She said she was happy. She said Philip would be proud. Harry sat on the balcony again one night. Lilibet slept in her crib inside. Megan rested. Archie dreamed. Harry looked at the ocean. He pulled out the silver watch. He opened it. The hands moved slowly. Time goes on, he thought. Life goes on. Pain comes. Joy comes. Family stays. He thought about the solo trip, the long flight, the cold castle, the sad music, the lonely walks. All of it led to this moment. He was not the same man who left. He was better. He understood more. He loved deeper. The moon was bright. The waves kept coming. Harry closed the watch and put it back in his pocket. He stood up. He went inside to his family. Tomorrow was a new day. Tomorrow he would keep moving forward, carrying the past with kindness, just like his grandfather taught him. He closed the door softly. The house was quiet, but inside it was full of love, full of hope, full of life. And that was the real farewell gift. Not just goodbye to the Duke, but hello to everything still ahead. Harry woke up the next morning to baby cries. Lilibet needed feeding. He got up fast. Megan was already holding her. They smiled at each other. No words needed. He made coffee. He toasted bread. He cut fruit. Simple things. But they felt special now. After breakfast, Harry took Archie to the garden. They played ball. Archie laughed loud. Harry ran after him, pretending to be slow. Then he let the boy win. They sat under a tree. Harry told Archie about his great-grandfather. He told how Philip loved horses, how he flew planes, how he never gave up. Archie listened with big eyes. "Will I meet him someday?" he asked. Harry thought for a moment. "In a way you already have," he said, "because he lives in me, and I live in you." The days turned into weeks. Harry found a new routine. Mornings with family. Afternoons working on projects. Evenings reading to the children. He read old books. He read new ones. He read stories about courage, about friendship, about love. One day he got an email. It was from a young boy in England. The boy was doing the Duke of Edinburgh Award. He wrote that Harry's grandfather inspired him. He said, "Thank you for keeping the memory alive." Harry wrote back. He said, "Keep going. You're doing something great." The boy replied with a photo. He was smiling in the mountains. Harry showed the photo to Megan. "See," he said, "the circle continues." Harry started to run again. Early mornings on the beach. Sand under his feet. Wind in his face. Each step made him feel alive. He thought about his grandfather while he ran. Philip was strong until the end. Harry wanted to be strong too, not just for himself, for his wife, for his children, for the people who looked up to him. Sometimes memories came sudden, like when he heard bagpipe music in a movie, or when he saw an old Land Rover, or when Archie said something funny and Harry thought Philip would have laughed. Then He felt the ache again. But the ache was softer now. It was mixed with thanks. Meghan noticed the change. "You seem peaceful," she said one night. Harry thought about it. "I am," he answered. "I found something I lost." Meghan asked what. "Myself," he said. "I found myself again." They planned a small ceremony at home, just for Philip. They invited a few close friends. They lit candles. They shared stories. They played old songs Philip liked. Archie drew a picture. It was a man with a hat standing next to a boat. "For great-grandpa," he said. Harry hung it on the wall. After the ceremony, Harry felt lighter. It was not a big public thing. It was private, real. His way of saying thank you and goodbye again. Months passed. Lilibet started to smile. She grabbed Harry's finger with tiny hands. Archie taught her to wave. The house was full of noise and joy. Harry watched it all. He felt grateful. He still missed his grandfather. He always would. But missing someone means they mattered. And Prince Philip mattered a lot. Harry looked forward now. He looked at his children. He looked at Meghan. He looked at the future they were building. The solo trip was hard, but it was worth it. It brought him back to what was important. And every time he felt the silver watch in his pocket, he remembered. Time moves on, but love stays forever.